Alright, starting off, the very first event that I'm telling you about is the Easter event in 2025. This was the very first event that Grow A Garden decided to add to the game, and it had one of the craziest plants of all time. But before I tell you about that plant, I'm going to tell you about all the other plants that were added. The first one was the chocolate carrot, which literally just looks like a normal carrot, but just literally made out of chocolate. It cost a total of 10,000 shekels, or 99 Robux. After that, we got the red lollipop for 45,000 shekels, or 200 Robux. Then we got the candy sunflower, which actually looks pretty cool, for 75,000 shekels, or 280 Robux. Bro, these things cost a lot of Robux. After that, they also had the Easter egg for a total of 500,000 shekels, or 700 Robux. Then the chocolate sprinkler, which costs literally the exact same amount, but you could buy for Robux for only 200. And basically what the chocolate sprinkler did was it gave everything that it splattered the chalk mutation, which is a pretty cool one. And finally, the most overpowered plant during this event was the candy blossom. Now, I'm pretty sure every single Blox Fruits player to this day knows about the candy blossom. It's literally one of the craziest plants of all time. Probably the best plant in the history of the game. And you could buy it for a total of 10 million, or 1,300 Robux. That just tells you how overpowered it is by just seeing the price. After that event, we moved on to a new event called the Angry Plant event. And this was the second event that was added to the game. And during this event, they added a lot of plants that we actually have in the normal shop right now. The first thing they added was the mushroom, which is still in the shop to this day. And after that, they also added the Venus flytrap as well as the lotus. Most of you should not know what these plants look like, but if you do, then consider yourself a really OG player. But basically, the Venus flytrap and the lotus could be got from the seed pack during that event. They also added the eggplant, the durian, and the cranberry, as well as rainbow seeds. Yep, you're thinking about the right type of rainbow seeds. Those rainbow seeds were literally added during this update. They also added a new weather event called the snow event, which I'm pretty sure most of you know gives you the chill mutation or the frozen mutation if your plant is already wet. During this event, they also added the trowel to the game to just let you relocate your plants. Pretty useful if you ask me. Moving on to the next update, this one is also still pretty popular to this day, and this was the Lunar Glow event. This was the event where they literally added the Moonlit event to the game, as well as the Bloodlit, obviously, because those two are kind of intertwined. So for this event, you could get a butt ton of things. The first one was the Celestial Seed, which gives you the Celestial Berry, which is a pretty overpowered berry. You could buy it for a total of 15 million shekels, or 600 Robux from the event shop. Then they also had the Moon Mango Seed, which you could buy for a total of 1 billion shekels, or 1,000 Robux. And this was literally the first item in Grow A Garden history to cost a total of 1 billion shekels. That is pretty crazy. You can also get a pet called the Moon Cat during this event, which was pretty cool, which basically just gave you a small percentage chance of your fruit actually staying after the harvest. They also added a bunch of other things in this event, and before I tell you that, basically you guys know how Grow A Garden events are like divided into two parts. The first week is the first part of the event, and the second week is the second part. Well, the first part of this event was the Moonlit event, and then the second part was the Bloodlit event, which gave you access to two different seeds. The first one was the Blood Banana for a total of 200,000 shekels, or 600 Robux, then the Moon Melon Seed for a total of 500,000 shekels, or 730 Robux. And the best things out of this event so far are the Moon Mango as well as the Moon Melon. They're pretty overpowered even to this day. You could also get an egg called the Night Egg, and from the Night Egg you had a chance of getting a pet called the Blood Owl, and this is one of the craziest pets in the whole game to this day. The Blood Owl basically just gives every single active pet in your garden with a certain range a 0.5 XP per second, which doesn't seem like a lot until you realize it's literally giving it to like 6 other pets in your garden, and that's literally free XP. You don't even need to feed your pets to give them XP, and if you feed them, then you get a butt ton more XP than normal. To this day, the owls are the most overpowered pets in the game, and if you have an owl in your garden, bro, people will be willing to pay a lot of money to get their hands on that, but I don't recommend selling it. The event after that was called the Busy Bee event, and this event was all about pollination and bees. And the very first thing that you could open during this event was the Flower Seed Pack, which is a special seed pack tied directly to this event, which lets you get your hands on some pretty cool seeds. And the best ones out of those were the Sunflower, the Purple Dahlia, as well as the Pink Lily. The Sunflower being the best to this day. You also got access to something called the Bee Egg, which gave you a chance of hatching a bunch of bees, and each bees basically just gave you a different form of the pollination mutation. And once you got into the rare level with the 5% chance, you had a chance of getting the Bear Bee, which gave you the Honey Glaze mutation, which is a lot better than the Pollinated mutation. After that, they also had the Petal Bee, which gives you a 1% chance of flower type crops staying after harvest, which is actually pretty overpowered if you had a lot of flower type plants. And finally, the rarest thing that you could get from the Bee Egg was the Queen Bee with a 1% chance, and this bee basically just pollinated a fruit every 20 minutes, and every 23 minutes it basically just refreshed the pet's ability, and it would choose the pet with the highest cooldown. Pretty overpowered if you think about it. Probably why you only had a 1% chance of getting this. And during this event, a lot of things were added to the game, like the Honey Sprinkler, which literally just gave your crops the Honey Glaze mutation, which is pretty overpowered. They also made your crops grow faster, but no one really used it for that. Moving on, after that, the event we got was called the Summer Harvest event. And during this event, they added a butt ton of plants to the game. The very first one was the Fioja, then we got the Loquat, the Prickly Bear, the Bell Pepper, the Kiwi, and a bunch of other fruits. They also added a bunch of pets to the game like the Mimic Octopus, the Scarlet Mascot, the Orangutan, the Flamingo, the Crab, the Sea Turtle, and 7 more pets. They also added a bunch of events to the game, which just gave you a bunch of stuff. One of them was a sun-dried mutation, which was applied during the heat wave event, and it literally gives your fruit a 85 times multiplier, which is pretty crazy. One of the best mutations in the game. After that, we got an event called the Prehistoric event, which was literally just based around dinosaurs, which is pretty cool if you ask me. And the seed pack for this event was called the Ancient Seed Pack. And the best plant that you can get from here is the Fossil Line, which is one of the best plants in the game to this day. You only had a 0.5% chance of getting it, but trust me, it was worth it. There's also some other plants, but none of them compared to this one. And the coolest thing about this event is that we actually got a new blossom plant added to the game. You guys remember the Candy Blossom from before? Well, during this update, they added the Bone Blossom, which isn't as good as the Candy Blossom, but trust me, it's still up there in the best plants of all time. Like, this Bone Blossom pretty much grew in the same way as a Candy Blossom, but instead of candy, it just grew bones, which is pretty unique for a plant. You could also get your hands on some dinosaur pets, which are really huge, and they're just way bigger than the normal pets in the game. They also looked really cool. After that event, we got the Zen event, and the Zen event, just like the other events, had 2 different parts, and they were pretty cool. For the first part of the event, we had the normal Zen, and you can call this the peaceful Zen. And after that, we got the corrupted Zen event, which was literally the same thing, but just a corrupted version, and it all looked pretty cool because it was like a balance between light and darkness, and it was just a really cool event in general. And one of the best pets from this event was the corrupted Kitsune, which only had a 1% chance of hatching from the Kitsune chest, and also only a 1% chance of getting hatched from the exotic Kitsune chest. So no matter how much Robux you paid, you only had a 1% chance. And what this does was actually pretty cool. Its ability is called Nine-Tailed Curse. Every 20 minutes, it would launch 9 different curse projectiles at your fruits, giving 9 different fruits in your garden the Corrupt Chakra mutation, which is a pretty decent mutation. And if you just got your hands on the normal Kitsune, it would do the exact same thing, but instead of giving you the Corrupted mutation, it would give you the Tranquil mutation, which is basically the good version of Corrupted. And also, one of the coolest seeds they released during this event was the Lucky Bamboo seed. You guys are all familiar with the normal bamboo in the game, but basically what the Lucky Bamboo does is just makes a multiple harvest. And they're a lot bigger and a lot thicker as well. Just look at this is what a normal Lucky Bamboo looks like, and just compare it to a normal bamboo, bro. The difference is crazy. After the Zen event, we got the cooking event, and this is where cooking was first officially added to the game. Right now in the game, you can use it for a bunch of different things, but during this event, you just had to feed the chef, and he would basically just give you some rewards for it. You get your hands on things like the gourmet seed packs, as well as the gourmet eggs. And this was the designated eggs and seed packs for this event. And the coolest fruit that you could get from the seed pack was the Grand Tomato, which is basically just a massive tomato plant. And for the gourmet egg, the very best thing that you could get was the French fry ferret, which every 20 to 60 minutes, it basically just increases the random pet's level in your garden by 1. It doesn't matter what level it is, it just gets increased by 1 directly. It's just a better version of the owl. It's pretty crazy. Just to nerf it a little bit, they made it so the ability cannot be mimicked by other pets that mimic abilities, or it can't be refreshed either. And also can't be sped up by other pets, because it would make it way too OP. Then we also got a pet called the Spaghetti Sloth from the same egg, which is honestly also pretty good. Every 3 to 14 minutes, it would just go to random fruit and would apply the pasta, sauce, or meatball mutation, which are pretty crazy mutations. And the coolest part is that if all of these mutations get applied at the same time to one fruit, then it just replaces it with the spaghetti mutation. That's why it's called the Spaghetti Sloth. Pretty cool pet if you ask me. And after the cooking event, we're getting to the events that most of you guys should already know about. And this is the Beanstalk event. During the Beanstalk event, you basically just had a chance to grow a giant beanstalk. You could climb up it and just get your hands on some cool rewards. And the cool part about this event is that the whole server had to help to grow the beanstalk. I mean, you could carry and just try and grow it yourself, but it would take a lot longer time, and it would also just be way more annoying to do. And the main seed pack for this event was the Sprout seed pack. The very best thing that you could get was a plant called Princess Thorn, which is basically just a cooler looking beanstalk if you ask me. I mean, just look at this thing. And the seed for this also looked really cool. You only had a 0.5% chance of getting it from the seed pack. But moving on to the egg, the best pet that you could get from this event was the Golden Goose. You only had a 0.5 to 1% chance of getting it, and every 13 minutes it just lays a golden egg on your garden. Basically what the golden egg is, just like any other plant in the game, it can be harvested by you and sold, or you can just get some other mutations on it. It just works like a regular plant, and the only difference is that it is a lot better than a normal average plant. I mean, the floor price for this is 225,000, which is pretty crazy if you ask me, and I guess that's why you only had a 0.5% chance of getting it. And that's pretty much it.